do we dream? Now, at the end of this, I want to talk about spiritual dreams as well. We know from the Old Testament, even the New Testament, that that's one way that God talks to us, through our dreams. We even know, for example, Joseph the Righteous, when he was sold by his brothers as a slave to Egypt, in ancient Egypt, he was called to interpret the Pharaoh's dreams. Now, why do we dream? This is on The Conversation by Jason Ellis, Professor of Sleep Science, Northumbria University, Newcastle in the UK. Although science knows what dreams are, it's still not known exactly why we dream, although plenty of theories exist. Dreams are patterns of sensory information that occur when the brain is in a resting state, as in sleep, and it's generally assumed that dreams only occur during rapid eye movement, REM sleep. That's when the brain appears to be in an active state, but the individual is asleep and in a state of paralysis. But studies have shown that they can also happen outside of REM or REM. Research from sleep studies, for example, show that REM-related dreams tend to be more fantastical, more colorful, and vivid, whereas non-REM dreams are more concrete and usually characterized in black and white. Recent studies on dreaming show that during a dream, and in particular an REM-related dream, the emotional center of the brain is highly active, whereas the logical, rational center of the brain is slowed. And this can help explain why these dreams are more emotive and surreal. Evolutionary theory suggests the purpose of dreams is to learn, in a safe way, how to deal with challenging or threatening situations, whereas the memory consolidation theory suggests that dreams are a byproduct of reorganizing memory in response to what has been learned throughout the day. Both theories have at least one thing in common. During times of stress and anxiety, we either dream more or remember our dreams more often as a way of coping with challenging circumstances and new information. The mood regularity function of dreams theory, where the function of dreams is to proven problem-solve emotional issues. Now, anxiety and stress dreams, while there's no evidence that we dream more when we are stressed, research shows we are more likely to remember our dreams because our sleep is poorer and we tend to wake up in the night more frequently. Studies show the dreams of people with insomnia, a disorder largely characterized by stress, contain more negative emotion and are more focused on the self in a negative light. Also, the dreams of people with insomnia tend to focus on current life stressors, anxieties, and can leave an individual with a low mood the following day. Outside of insomnia, research has found that people who are depressed while going through a divorce appear to dream differently compared to those who are not depressed. They rate their dreams as more unpleasant. Interestingly, though, this study found that those depressed volunteers who dreamt of their ex-spouse were more likely to have recovered from their depression a year later compared to those who did not dream of ex-spouse. Participants whose dreams changed over time to become less angry and more pragmatic also showed the greatest improvements, and the question is why? Although our senses are dampened during sleep with vision being completely absent, strong sensory information such as an alarm will be registered and in some cases incorporated into the dream itself. We also know that during times of stress, we're more vigilant to threat on cognitive, emotional, and behavioral levels. So it stands to reason that we are more likely to incorporate internal and external symbols into our dreams as a way to manage them, and this way account for these changes in our dreams when we're anxious, depressed, or sleeping badly. How to sleep better? The current thinking is stress reduction before bed and good sleep management, such as keeping a consistent sleep routine, using the bedroom only for sleep, making sure the bedroom is cool, dark, quiet, and free from anything arousing, will reduce awakening at night and so the frequency of stress-related negative dreams. That said, using a technique called imaginary imagery rehearsal therapy, or IRT, mainly used for treating nightmares in people with post-traumatic stress disorder, it appears stress and anxiety associated with nightmares and bad dreams, as well as the frequency of bad dreams, can be reduced. This is achieved by reimagining the ending of the dream or the context of the dream, making it less threatening. There is also evidence that the IRT is effective for reducing nightmares in children, although IRT is thought to be successful by giving the dreamer a sense of control over the dream. This has not been well studied in people who are stressed or anxious. That said, a recent study showed that teaching people with insomnia to be aware while they were dreaming and to control the dream as it occurs, known as lucid dreaming training, not only reduced their insomnia symptoms, but also reduced their symptoms of anxiety and depression. Perhaps the key is to manage the dreams as opposed to trying to manage the stress, especially in uncertain times. And then again, this article has nothing to do with spiritual dreams, and that is one way that God and the Holy Spirit can talk to you through your dreams. We see that in the Old Testament and the New Testament as well. And this is on the conversation. Remember that there are passages that say your sons and daughters will dream dreams and visions. In other words, it's one of the ways that there are prophetic visions and dreams that are given from God and the Holy Spirit. Now, how do you know that you have a prophetic vision? Well, look what my father confessor told me is that if you have a feeling of ease, then you know it's if it's not something that gives you fear, then it's from God. If it's something that gives you fear, then it's not from God. But I don't understand that because of the fact that let's say he's trying to warn you about something. If he's trying to warn you about something, then you immediately have to pray. Okay. So another thing is that you can open up the Holy Bible after your dream, and that will give you an answer if your dream was from the Lord or not. That's what I do. A lot of people do that as well. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.